Hi everyone and welcome to this week's newsletter. As you can see behind me, it snowed. Yeah, unfortunately the golf course is closed today, so we can't do this week's rules video outside like we was hoping to. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the first 5 of the 20 new rule amendments in the studio. So we're going to head inside. Right everyone, thankfully back inside the warm now. It's freezing outside, so it's so much better to be indoors in the studio. You can see behind me we've actually set up Pebble Beach, which is the host of this year's US Open. Me and Graham are going to do a little bit of testing of the new TaylorMade M5 and M6 range, which if you read a little bit further down this week's newsletter, Graham's actually talked about. So keep reading below to find out more information about that. But back to the rules. So as we said, as Graham talked about last week, and I think I mentioned in the first video of this year's newsletter, there's been 20 kind of big amendments to the rules of golf. And over the next sort of 4 weeks, we're going to try and bring you 5 of those rules each week, so that hopefully by the time you've watched all of those videos, you'll have a much better understanding of what those amendments are and kind of how they affect you out on the golf course. We're going to start at the top of the list that we included in last week's newsletter. So the first thing is obviously searching for a golf ball. Now, under the old rules of golf, you used to have 5 minutes to look for your golf ball once you arrived to its basic location. Okay. Under the new rules, you've only got 3 minutes. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever set a timer for 3 minutes, but it's no time at all. So I would definitely suggest more than ever before, if you think you've hit the ball into trouble, you're not quite sure where it's gone, now more than ever, definitely hit a provisional ball off the tee to try and speed up play. And I think really, when you look at it, this is what the R&A are trying to do. All of these rules changes are designed to try and speed up the game, try and make it easier, try and make it more enjoyable. So definitely this one I think is one to keep an eye out for everyone, because 3 minutes goes really quick. So remember, hit that provisional, okay? Right, okay, so the second one, everyone. So under the new rules, while searching for your golf ball, if you accidentally move it, kick it with your feet, whatever it is, under the new rules, you are actually allowed to replace the golf ball to as near as possible its original position for no penalty. Whereas under the old rules of golf, you would have been penalised if you or your caddy moved the ball during the search. Okay, so quite a good one, that one, because again we've all done it. Probably as you're walking through the rough, with all the leaves down in autumn, it's dead easy to kind of accidentally kick the golf ball. So again, you can actually, if you accidentally move it while searching for it, again you can replace it to as near as possible its original lie, no penalty. So okay, so that's number 2. Okay everyone, so the next one we're going to talk about is the embedded ball rule. This is a slight twist over the old rules, where clubs could elect to have kind of a local rule which covered plug balls through the green. Under the new rules, if the ball's embedded through the green, so again anywhere on the golf course excluding your hazards, it's actually free relief, so you can actually lift, clean and drop the golf ball within a 1 sort of club length semicircle of the ball. So if I try and show you what that is, so if you think of it, you can move a club left or right of the ball and then all the way around the back, if you can see that. I think Graham's also included probably a better picture further down in the newsletter that explains it. But again, definitely a good rule to know when we move into the softer ground conditions, because it's dead easy for the ball to plug. And I guess really under the old rules, not every golf club elected to use that local rule. Okay, so again, it could be confusing, it could be contradictory. Whereas now, new rules, every golf club, embedded ball, free relief within a 1 club length semicircle. Okay. Right, okay, now rule number 4, measuring a drop. Now this is probably one that a lot of amateur golfers probably have done wrong actually for a long time. Under the old rules, you was actually supposed to measure a drop with the club that you was going to hit for the next shot. So if you was going to hit a sand iron for the next shot, technically you were supposed to measure the drop with that, whereas actually probably everyone always used to measure it with their driver. Again, all the confusion's gone surrounding this rule now, so moving forward, you actually always measure with your longest club. Okay, so if you've got a driver in your bag, that would be the longest club you're using, so technically your drop is always with that longest club. If you haven't got a driver, it's just whatever the longest club you're carrying on that day. So for someone maybe who's only using a 3-wood on that day, that would be their longest club for that day. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense now, that you always measure your drop with whatever the longest club in your bag is, excluding, I think, still sort of massive like broom handle putters. So I think the longest club is the driver. I think that's the stopping point on that rule. So yeah, again, remember that one? Okay everyone, so the last rule we're going to highlight today, number 5 on that list that we talked about, is dropping the ball. So this is probably the one that really has caused the biggest stir in professional golf. If any of you have watched any of the tournaments from Dubai or from the States, and probably is still the one that's the most confusing, and to be fair also the funniest really, is under the new rules we now drop a ball from knee height. Now you're seeing all kinds of funny videos out there of people kind of doing this and all kinds of things. I think if you read the rule technically, the leg is supposed to be kind of fairly extended to slightly flexed, and again you just drop it from knee height down there, something like that. Why have they changed this? I suppose it was really to try and stop the ball kind of bouncing beyond that sort of 2 club length kind of window that we had under the old rules. So if the ball didn't bounce forward, the ball was able to bounce kind of up to 2 club lengths outside of that initial kind of measured drop-in zone. And again, it used to get a few re-drops, and there was always confusion with how many times you drop it before you have to re-drop it. So I think the hope on here again is all about simplicity and pace of play. That if you're dropping it from, I don't know, what is a couple of feet away from the ground, hopefully that ball isn't going to move too far when it hits the ground. But yeah, I think it's a funny one, this one. And if you watch the golf on telly, I think even the pros are struggling to remember it. I saw Mickelson from the weekend actually just about to drop it at shoulder height, and the rules official had to remind him to drop it from knee height. So yeah, again, is it going to make any difference? Only time will tell, but that's what we need to do from now on. So yeah, don't forget, any ball drop, always drop it from knee height, and let's get on with it. So that's today's kind of 5. We have whizzed through them, so don't forget, new copies of the rule book are available in the clubhouse, either from upstairs in the office, us in the pro shop, or again they're dotted around at various places in the clubhouse. So do pick up a rule book, because as you said, they have dropped 10 rules officially out of the book. So what rule you remember, the rule number you remember may have completely changed. Okay, so definitely have a flick through. And I think they've made a player's edition of the rule book as well, which again is kind of keeping it even more simpler and concise to hopefully make it better to understand. But anyway, I'll let you go. Enjoy the week. Let's hope this snow doesn't hang around long. And myself and Graham, as we said, are going to start hitting a few shots on the simulator to test out this year's TaylorMade stuff. So I'll see you all next week, everyone. Bye.